Scotto's got the clap.
All right, welcome to Cossie World Tour, except normally it won't be three guys sitting on a couch. Today, we want to explain to you, A, what Cossie World Tour is, B, what to expect from this show, and C and D, all the cool stuff that has to do with it, like the car, the locations, and all of that.
So the Cossie World Tour is actually myself and my team taking a 90s Ford Escort RS Cosworth out to events around the world that I've always wanted to do. So in 2019, I'm doing 7 or 8 races and showcasing this rad, older WRC car in some of the coolest events in the world.
To make that really simple, the Cossie is a car, the world is where we live, and the tour is all these races we're going to be doing.
Rally of the 100 Acre Wood in Missouri that I've won 7 out of 8 times that I've been there.
Wonder why he likes it so much.
Yeah. Rally Whangarei in New Zealand, which I've won once. Then I get to go to Donegal Rally in Ireland, which I've never been to. It's a tarmac rally that I've always wanted to go to. Then Goodwood Festival of Speed, where we'll have not only the new Cossie, but the Huna truck. Then we go from there to Gymkhana Grid in Poland. So next we have Rally Legends in San Remo, and then the following weekend is Rally du Valais in Switzerland. So, and there's still a couple more that are up in the air. We're definitely gonna have 1 or 2 more events in the World Tour, but we just haven't finalized everything by the time we're making this video. So excited to announce those at some point in the future too. In the dark, we make a brighter light. Well, it isn't necessarily about the car. It is about the car. Well, it's because I wanted to do all these rad events around the world. To be able to do that all in one car too makes it better for me as a driver to hop in one car and drive it hopefully at its limit everywhere I go. Everything I do is driven by you. For one thing, I just love the styling of that car. You know, before that, there was the Sierra, you know, as the rally car for Ford, and before that was the Group B era, which was the RS200. And the RS200 is, hands down, my favorite rally car of all time, but it's not as common of a car to actually get and race.
They're also a fortune now.
Yeah,
so like spare parts, like they're like approaching like priceless Ferrari pricing.
Yeah, and they're small inside.
Super sketchy.
Yeah, super sketchy to drive.
Skittish.
The gearbox doesn't even work with a handbrake because it doesn't have a center diff release. The Cossie for me gets me the all-wheel drive drivetrain in a very functional car that actually was a production car, so it's a quite common car, but also that it's a very classic hot hatch shape, and it has one of the most iconic wings to me ever on a production car. So we bought it to do Gymkhana 10, but also with the long-term idea of racing it. But even when we bought it, I didn't know if I would like it out on the stages. It was kind of a bit of a speculation. So in early 2018, we went out and did some testing of it. You know, the Gymkhana 10 filming was done. Okay, let's go see how it is actually out on stages. So we ended up doing 2 basic tests to get it up to the specs of what we needed for it to race in the American Rally Association.
So you went racing in it, and then what happened?
The first race with it was Oregon Trail Rally. It had a lot of ups and downs. It was a difficult race with the car because we were discovering things that were just unreliable with it. We had an oil filler cap pop off in the middle of a tarmac stage, and we actually had to makeshift a filler cap and find oil and fill the engine to make it back to service. In one of the last stages, my front right control arm broke. I was in 3rd place at the time, and I had to make it through a stage or 2 and then make it from the end of the last stage, transit all the way back into town to the podium. So I was able to pull that off, and we were able to claim 3rd place overall in the first event with that car.
But the next race went a lot better, right?
Get up!
New England Forest Rally actually started off quite good. I think we were running 3rd overall. But in the second stage, which was the second running of Concord Pond, I started to have a gearbox issue. So it's a 7-speed sequential gearbox. You don't have to clutch in the stage when downshifting or upshifting. Well, all of a sudden in the middle of that stage, it stopped giving me that gear cut and smooth gear change. So I was starting to have to use the clutch to make that gear change, and it would happen unexpectedly. It would not downshift or it would not upshift, and then I'd have to take a second to, realize what's going on and clutch it. And it made the driving then not as consistent, not as fun. But we had 2 more stages to go to get back to service, and then the team would have the car overnight to get ready for the next day of racing. Those last 2 stages are what we call a turnaround stage. So you drive the stage in, you wait for everybody to drive it, and then everybody turns around and then drives the stage back out. So we drove in, got an okay time. We're still 3rd overall, turned around, and on the route back, we got within a half mile of the end of the stage. And there's a very particular corner that I know is a spectator corner, and it has rocks on the inside of the corner. I went to downshift and get on the gas, and that should have shot me more to the middle or the outside of the corner with a lot of wheel spin. Well, instead, there's a delay, and you can hear it in the video. The car oddly redlines, and you can even see the indicator that shows you're redlining. So that basically the gearbox didn't engage like it's supposed to. Without the gearbox engaged, well, the wheels slow down, and it brings me towards the inside of the corner, and thus I get dragged into these rocks and flip. Oh,
Get out quick. Get out!
I'm getting out.
Need any help?
Hurry.
Come on.
Those cars are known to have a bit of a problem with fires and rolls. That I think there's a fuel rail on top that can break and then be spilling gas basically all over a hot engine and a very hot turbo. So we think that that's what happened, and we scrambled around for the first 10 minutes and found every fire extinguisher we could, from safety crews to the buses to anybody that had something. I think we went through 4 fire extinguishers, but the hood's on. You can only get so much in there, and there's probably fuel dumping onto a hot engine. There was just nothing we could do. So Alex and I had to sit there and watch as this beautiful car sat on the side of the road, not really that badly damaged, and just burned to the ground.
And I don't think many people really realize how bad that was. You do that. A lot of people are like, yeah, it's a car fire, can you rebuild it? But it was bad. It proper burnt. And myself and our team director, Derek Dauncey, we got there probably 35 minutes after, and the car was still burning, and there was that much fire foam, and anything magnesium was very much still burning. And there's nothing left of it really. Yeah, so we actually ended up bringing the car back to my family's farm. I actually live in the same town that the New England Rally's in.
I saw there on stage how bad it was, but seeing it the next day there at the farm, was pretty shocking to see it in this green field, just the carcass sitting there. But it was really quite amazing to see just how bad that thing burned. Literally burnt to the ground, absolutely nothing usable.
Yeah, it wasn't just the motor fire, the whole shell, it was gone.
Yes.
There was nothing left.
So now that car, the carcass, we call it the Cossie carcass, is actually back at Hoonigan Racing in Utah, and we're not sure what to do with it.
Art project.
It could be an
art
art project.
If you have an idea, comment below.
Yeah, we're looking for ideas.
So because the car was totaled, it gave us an opportunity to build a whole brand new Cossie that was better than the one before.
So we went through a whole discussion though. Do I stick to the classic car, like what we had before, or do we take that classic car and keep the essence of it, but build something new, something modern? And my big issue with it was I was genuinely surprised with the reliability issues that we dealt with this old car. It's not that something was wrong with it, it's just that race cars get old. And if you're going to race a car a lot, you want something that's going to be very reliable. The whole idea that I went with is if the Ford Escort RS Cossie came out today what would the current World Rally team do with that car with an aero package? So that's the entire concept that we went with.
And we used computer design. A friend of ours, Ash Thorpe, built the whole thing. So like the whole thing was built on a computer, and we modeled the whole thing, and it looks kind of ballistic.
Which is typical of race cars, designed on a computer.
Well, race cars today.
Right, but-
The original one was made out of clay.
Right. But that's modern race cars. We're going back and doing that with a 90s race car. So we kind of had to start from scratch with that. So can I show them?
No, you can't show them. That's what next
Come on,
episode's about.
come on, dude. I got a photo.
That's a wrap. Cut. Will, cut.